Hey everybody, Madison here with Health by Ratio, and in this video, we are going to be talking about the root causes of sciatica or sciatic nerve flare-ups. Why do they actually occur? How can we actually fix this thing? That's what we're going to be jumping into. Health by Ratio consists of a team of licensed physical therapists, orthopedic movement specialists, and functional health coaches that work online with our clients to help them not just heal and rehabilitate from recurring and chronic pains and injuries, but bridge the gap to the level of fitness and the activities that that person is passionate about living. So, whether that is playing a sport, whether that's training for an event, whether that's just being able to enjoy long hikes or playing with the dogs in the yard, we want to make sure that their health is actually translating to their functional life. Now, getting into our topic on sciatica, this is something that hits close to home for me because I personally dealt with sciatica for years, and dozens, and I would say for more than dozens of our clients have dealt with this as a chronic and recurring issue. That this is the main reason why they start to work with us, because they've tried, like myself, everything under the sun. They did chiropractic treatments, they went to physical therapy, they did all their prescribed stretches and exercises, they tried painkillers and nerve blockers and all kinds of stuff, and yet it was still prevalent. Like for me personally, I couldn't tolerate sitting in a car for more than 20 or 30 minutes before I was on fire. For some people, they can't sleep the night without their sciatic nerve being on fire. For others, they can't go for a walk for more than half of a mile. But either way, it's something that's so debilitating when this thing flares up, whether it's localized towards the hamstring and the butt, or whether it goes all the way down that leg towards the foot. It is soul crushing, and it impacts our lives in so many different ways. And why is it that we can do all these specific treatments? We can get massage therapy, we can get chiropractic adjustments, we can do dry needling and cupping and all these kinds of things, yet it still comes back. Why is it so prevalent? Well, that's because often we get sidetracked. And by the way, this step is needed, but often we get sidetracked in the initial step of treat and calm down the nerve, which again is important. The sciatic nerve can get pinched or irritated from really two main areas. One is going to be the spine itself, where it exits the lower back. The other is going to be in the hip complex itself, as it's running through the hip. And sometimes it's a little bit of both, depending on the individual. But we get focused on where the nerve is getting pinched, and then how do we calm that thing down. So we might be doing nerve glides, we might be doing stretches, we might be doing certain exercises to better align the body, and those things calm the nerve down in the moment, but that's not solving the actual root causes, because the ultimate cause is not, or the ultimate question, I should say, is not just where's the nerve getting pinched, it's why is the body pinching the nerve there? And the answer is not, well, it was at the lower back, so it's just because of the lower back. No, no, the lower back is not by itself inherently set up to pinch the sciatic nerve. That means that there's something going on at my lower back. I'm overarched, or I've lost the arch of my back. I've gone the other direction. I'm crooked in my hips. I have like an imbalance at my hips, and it's pulling me off to one side or the other. Those are things that impact the spine. Or maybe my hip is really compressed. Maybe when I'm sitting, I immediately tighten up my hip capsule closes off, and I impinge that nerve there. But again, these are more explanations of where the nerve is getting pinched, and what direction the body is moving. But the question really is why? What's going on in the body that's causing us to do that? And unless we address the root causes, then we just continue to chase symptoms. We are trying to do the minimum that's required to just get that nerve calmed down. But in reality, we need to be looking at what's going on above and below. For me, for instance, my big issues had to do with what was going on in my ankles and my feet. That was a main low hanging fruit for me, a weak link in my chain. I had all this instability at my ankles. I had like growing up around my sports, I had sprained ankles like over a dozen times, so both ankles. And so I had all this instability at my feet. They would point in different directions. I collapsed my arches all the time. And that impacted how my hips stabilized, and my glutes got lazy over time. I started to develop a really big anterior pelvic tilt. That also had to do with how I was always overactivating and tightening my hip flexors, but that's another aspect of what was going on. But between what my ankles were doing and between how my hips were getting pulled into this anterior pelvic tilt, meaning my hips were being rotated forward, I was pinching off my sciatic nerve. The root cause, though, was not my lower back. The root cause was what was going on down at my ankles and at my glutes, which was impacting how my core stabilized my spine. For others, it can be going like for some of our clients, it's what's going on up at their thoracic spine. They're so tight and compressed here at the shoulders and the thoracic spine that they're rolling this way, and it's causing them to go into more of a pelvic tuck. So now they've lost the arch in their spine. They're going the opposite direction. They might be compressing the hip here now because the actual femur is driving up into that hip socket and it's compressing that nerve from there. But again, the root cause is not the hip. It's the things going on above the kinetic chain, or it's not the lower back. It's the things going on below the kinetic chain. And this is where we need to actually assess the entire body in the ways that we use it. And this can be in how we walk. This can be in how we squat down and pick things up. It can be how we're kneeling down. It can also be just how we're sitting in our car or how we're laying down in bed. One of the most common things that we take a look at with our clients is how they sleep in bed. Obviously, we have them like laying we have them laying on top of their covers clothed, and we just have them show us, hey, what are the natural positions that you're laying in on? Okay, well, you have a tendency to lay on your stomach with your leg kicked out to the side. You're mimicking the Captain Morgan pose all night long. Okay, that's compressing that hip. That's irritating that nerve. So how do we fix that? Or hey, when you're laying on your side right there, your pillow isn't supportive enough. You're kinking up your neck right there, and it's causing you to roll your whole body, your whole upper body down while the lower body is facing another direction. So you're twisting your whole spine the whole time. And then how do we fix it? Okay, we got to get a more supportive pillow, or we need to put a pillow between your knees or something along those lines. But if it's in the car, it might be, hey, you got bucket seats. We got to adjust that. The bucket seats that you're sitting in is really compressing that hip. That was my issue. I was sitting in bucket seats. I needed to adjust that. And once I did, I was able to tolerate it much more as I fixed the alignment of my spine while I was in that car. So there are a number of functional things that we can do to correct the body from head to toe. And then all of a sudden, we've solved the root causes of where our sciatica is actually coming from. So guys, that's what I wanted to talk about, is that if you're chasing symptoms, if you're feeling like you're just treating the area and not actually solving the root causes of it, hopefully this sheds some light on, yeah, maybe there's some stuff going on down at my ankles or at my knees or at my shoulders or at my neck that's impacting how my core, how my hips are lining themselves, and that's where my root causes are. That's what needs to be addressed. And if you guys want some help with this, if you want a better understanding of how your body is moving and why it's doing what it's doing, are there certain weaknesses? Are there certain tight tissues that are pulling on you in a certain way? For me, it was a combination of both. For most of our clients, it is as well. But if you want to understand, okay, yeah, it's that right ankle, or it's that left hip, or it's that right shoulder, and you'd like some free feedback, we would love to help. My team and I offer everybody 2 free coaching calls. The first call is for us to get to know you. It's relatively quick. We just spend about 20-30 minutes to understand what your body has been through and what your goals are for the future. And then the second call is actually a video assessment where you and I connect and we go through a number of full body patterns that are safe for you. We don't want to irritate the body further, but we want to test how it's naturally moving day in and day out and see how it's the sciatic nerve or whatever else you're dealing with is being impacted. What's the root causes? And then we get nitty gritty with some range of motion tests and assessments and see really what's going on, and then create a game plan with you on what kind of exercises and what stretches and or mobility techniques do you need to do to get this thing moving back to full range of stable motion and solve your root causes. So if you're interested in that, below this video, you'll see a link to our calendar. You can pick a day or time to schedule your first call with us. Other than that, please feel free to subscribe to our channel, like this video, share it with somebody that you feel like has been chasing their symptoms and they need a little bit of a pick-me-up on maybe solving some other avenues of where their root causes of their pain are coming from. Because speaking from personal and professional experience, you can heal. If you get your body into a better alignment, you can solve the root cause of why this dreaded nerve is getting so impacted and get the body into a more flowing state where it can actually heal and respond and stabilize the way we want. All right, guys, enjoy. Talk to you soon.